There's a place in the woods called Aspen Ridge because of all the populous trees which grow there. This is where we're from. We are the Popple People. Welcome to our channel. We're glad you stopped by. If you remember last time, we kept getting very shredded boards after milling a popple log, and consensus from those who emailed and messaged us on our website was that it's time for a blade change on the sawmill. So, in this episode, we'll show you how we did our first blade change on this Woodland Mills HM122 portable sawmill, and then we also mill up a few more popple logs. First, tension on the blade was released, and the old blade was carefully removed. Next, we had to open our package of new blades that we purchased when we bought the mill. The blades were bound with wire and a zip tie. We used a side cutter to release those bindings. Be careful when you do this though, because they recoil. Be sure to wear gloves when you're handling this new blade. It is sharp. Then, the new blade gets installed around one wheel, slipped through the blade guides, and then placed around the other wheel. Some tension was put back on the blade, and then the wheels were spun. Next, the blade was properly tensioned with a torque wrench. The wheels were spun again, and then since we were in here, we rechecked blade tracking. And belt tension was checked as well. The blade guides needed just a small adjustment, so that was done next. And with that, we were finally ready to mill. These popple logs were dug out of 2 feet of snow and then dragged down to the driveway where we parked the sawmill trailer. One of the logs had an enormous crack on the end of it because these logs ended up getting snowed in before we had a chance to paint the ends last fall. So that end got sawed off and we milled up the rest of the log. You could sure tell a difference cutting with a brand new blade. It was smooth as butter. One thing we noticed was that the board curled up at the end as it was being milled. Does anyone know why that happened? Was it because this was still fairly green since this tree was cut down last fall just before winter? Or does it have to do with this being a new blade? Let us know in the comments below. You can really see it here. This tree wasn't straight to begin with. It looked okay standing, but once it got peeled, there was a fairly significant bow in it, which is why this log got set aside on the practice file for the sawmill. Well, once we cut the bow out of this log, we ended up with a pretty small cant, but we were still able to get a few 1x6 boards out of it. So we'll need to make those into more shiplap and use it to complete the Acer interior, which if you saw in a previous video, we ran out of shiplap and weren't able to finish back in episode 21. Since we had 2 of those popple logs that I dug out and dragged down to the driveway, we had to mill the other one too. Both of these popple logs that we cut up today actually came from the same tree, and you'll notice that this one had the boards curling up while we were cutting it too. If you know why, email us or let us know in the comments. As always, if you have questions, please email us at thepopplepeople, all one word, @gmail.com, or flip-flop a comment below. We love to hear from you. Stay tuned for our next video, where we'll branch out and try something a little bit different for a change, and we'll be sharing the latest news from Aspen Ridge. Thanks so much for watching. We appreciate your views. If you enjoyed this video and want to follow our journey, please consider subscribing. That way, you can be a Popple People too. We'll catch you next time. Bye.